So, welcome again, and it's a real joy to continue this journey that it really also is. Don't know if you have followed the first meeting or if you have seen the video. This one is really building on top of that one, and then the next one is building on top of that one. So eventually with these orientations, we go very deep into the matter of the teachings of the school of the Golden Rosycross. During our first meeting, we reflected on the connection between the Rosicrucian and the Gnosis. We discussed how the spiritual path is not a straight line of ambition or of achievement, but a deep remembrance or a reawakening of something that always has been present in the depths of our being. Today we will turn to another theme, one that is both simple and also deeply mysterious. It's the mystery of the two sides of being human. Each one of us lives this mystery every day. We feel it when we rejoice and when we suffer. We feel it when we feel torn between what we know to be right and what we actually do. We feel it when we long for peace, while we are caught in restlessness. It is the strange condition of being human. And the old writings put it very clearly. Of all beings in nature, only the human is being double. On one hand, we are creatures of the earth. We breathe, we eat, we grow, we think, we feel, and we die. We live in bodies that are part of a great cycle of matter, subject to the rhythm of birth and decay, to the endless play of opposites. We know joy and sorrow, light and darkness, hope and despair, just as the day turns into the night and night into the day. But on the other hand, there's also something else within us, something that is not of this world. Something untouched by all the changes. Something that remains constant. Something indestructible. And this is what we call the spark of the spirit. The seed of immortality. The radiant rose of the heart. There is no other being in this world who shares this kind of duality. Animals live wholly in the cycles of nature. But we have also an internal part embedded within us, a particle of the divine fire that burns in our heart. So as human beings, we are both. We are earthly in our body, and we are heavenly in our original being. We are mortal in our form, while we are immortal in our essence. The story of the fall describes how humanity once lived in direct communion with the divine. But through separation, through self-centeredness, that unity got lost. Since then, the ego has taken the center of the stage. It drives us over and over again with an endless stream of desires and fears. It builds worlds, civilizations, cultures, and still it cannot touch on what is eternal. The indestructible spark always remains. The seed of God cannot be destroyed. It only waits patiently, silently, for the moment that we turn inward to listen to it. And this is why we often feel such a restlessness. This is why we feel such a longing. Even in the midst of comfort, something in us tells us that something is still missing. And this is not a mistake. It is the tension of our duality. It is the sign that we are hearing the morning call of awakening. This awakening is not a comfortable place to be in. It can feel like a tearing inside, as if we are pulled in two directions at once. We know the pull of our habits, our impulses, our fears. And at the same time, we sense the whisper of something greater, something quieter, something that calls us home. The Rosicrucians recognize this as the so-called divine call, a call that cannot be silenced, because it is the very voice of the spirit spark atom within us. Across all spiritual traditions, this duality has been acknowledged. The Buddha speaks about the wheel of birth and death, but also about the eightfold path to liberation from it. The mystics of the West speak of two natures in the human being, that there is an outer person of time and space and an inner person of eternity. In Christianity, we hear the words, "My kingdom is not of this world." And in the words of the modern Rosicross, "O people of the earth, drunk with illusion and ignorant of the divine, awaken. Why do you surrender to death, while immortality is yours? Turn from the shadows and embrace the eternal. Free yourself from darkness and partake in the light." What do these words mean to us today? We may not be wandering through deserts or writing scriptures, but we face the same question. Will we only live from our earthly side, or will we awaken the divine side that lies hidden within us? This is not about rejecting life. It is not about despising the earth or running away from its challenges. It is about remembering our wholeness. It is about letting that indestructible, eternal nucleus that is in our heart become radiant, so that our earthly life can become radiant. It can become lifted into harmony with the divine. And the heart of the matter is this. When the light of divine freedom touches us, even for a short moment, we begin to see and to feel differently. The things that once seemed so important to us, they lose their weight. The desires that once burned so fiercely in us, they begin to calm down. The ambitions that once drove us reveal themselves as illusions. And in their place rises a new longing. Not a longing for more possessions or more recognition, but a longing for eternal peace. A longing for what we somehow remember, even though we cannot put it fully into words. This is the moment when the sacred search begins. The search not for new ideas, not for higher ranks, but for truth itself. The search for our true home that we never really left, but that we had forgotten. And dear friends, this duality is not meaningless. It is the very school in which we learn. Every struggle, every joy, Every disappointment is part of this awakening. It is all given to us so that we may discover that nothing in the world of opposites can fulfill us lastingly. That only the eternal light, the power of love of the Spirit, can give everlasting peace. So let us not fear this duality. Let us not run away from it. Our duality is neither a flaw. It is the doorway to awakening. When our heart ceases to reach outward in endless desire, then a quiet space opens within it. And in that space, the eternal seed can begin to radiate and shine its light and warmth. The call of the Gnosis, the fragrance of the rose, is nothing other than the awakening to this. It is the whisper that reminds us that we are more than just mortal beings, that we don't only belong to time, but also to eternity. And when we can hear this whisper, and when we dare to trust it, then a new awareness begins to unfold, and a new life begins to dawn within us. Thank you.